to the Let's Talk BS podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Sofia, and we're coming to you live from the
From the 757. Look at you, cut me off.
My bad.
Nah, it's all good. That's my little
I was
intro.
into it today.
I see. You was excited. You normally be acting like you ain't from here. You don't live here like that. So, I'm glad that you said that 757, with your chest. So that was pretty cool. I'll take it. I'll let that ride.
Say it with my chest. Huh?
Yeah, there you go. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's
pretty
good.
We had a late start today. Today was early release in my school district, and I think your kids were off. Right?
Yeah. My kids didn't have school today.
Yeah.
So it was a little chaotic around the household. It's the end of the month, so I actually had 2 closings today. One is actually closing right now as we speak. So if you see me or you hear my phone go off or me look at my phone a couple times, that'll be what it's for. Actually, let me look right now. All right, cool. So yeah. Today was chaotic. I had the kids. Brooke, my wife, she had made plans today, so she was running around, and I had the kids for the better part of the day. So, but yeah, we're here. Definitely excited. It's been 2 weeks since we recorded. We weren't able to record last week. I think what was going on last week while we recorded?
I believe I was sick.
That's right. Yeah, you weren't feeling too well.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
How you feeling? Feeling all right? Feeling better?
Yeah, feeling better.
Okay.
Yep.
So
It all
what was
started
wrong?
on like Wednesday. I woke up, my body was aching and stuff like that, and then Thursday, I actually had dentist appointments for me and the kids, and
Okay.
my husband ended up taking all the kids, and then I stayed home. I didn't even go to my dentist appointment, so I have to reschedule that.
Okay.
And then Friday, I was just kind of being cautious because, Brian got kids, and I know how it could be if you around people who are sick, and then you go home, and then that's just
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
You don't want the kids to be sick. So,
Yeah. No, that's true.
yeah, I pretty much stayed in because of that.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm glad to see and hear that you're doing well. I think
doing a lot better.
yeah, but
and,
I
I had double pink eye. I forgot about that part.
double pink eye.
Yeah, double pink eye. Went to the doctor.
What?
Yeah.
What is it? So both your eyes have pink eye. What you
both
got?
of them. Both of them.
Both of them. With the FF.
Yes,
joint,
it
both
started
of 'em.
off with one, and I had a red eye, and I thought, maybe I scratched it or something, and it stayed longer than it should have, know.
Okay.
You know how I was looking like I was stoned, like it was crazy.
Like you were stoned. Okay.
Yeah, like
high.
high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My eyes was what they call bloodshot red, like it was crazy. So it started off with, like I said, with one eye, and then it actually the next day came in the other eye, and I knew it was something different because it was like my eyes would be like, when I wake up in the morning, they'll be closed shut. I had like that mucus.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, so I went to the doctor, and the doctor informed me that I didn't have like your traditional pink eye, like the bacteria pink eye. I had the allergy-induced pink eye.
Allergy-induced pink eye.
Who knew?
What?
I've had allergies all my life. She said basically, I guess my allergies had gotten so bad that it basically caused my eyes to do that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So allergy-induced pink eye.
Yep.
I tell you, boy, you learn something new.
Learn something new every day. Listen,
I remember pink eye sucks though, or even having like a sty in your eye. Those like
I never got a sty before.
You never had a sty in your eye before? Oh
never.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I never had.
What, your kids?
anything.
Any of your kids
Nope.
ever had styes in their eyes? Oh man.
We haven't went through chicken pox yet. Mine never had chicken pox. She a teenager. I got chicken pox in like grade school. Like
yeah, I was young.
Definitely
I was like,
6th grade or younger.
I was younger than that. I know I was in elementary school when I got chicken pox. Yeah.
We haven't experienced chicken pox, but I also don't really let my kids go too many places. So
yeah.
And she
is
vaccinated.
that something though? I know growing up, I remember hearing like every person is supposed to have, like, is that like real? Like, is every person supposed to experience chicken pox? Like,
that's what they say. I mean, from my understanding when I was a kid was you're supposed to
start
experience
itching right
it.
when I said it too. You start itching.
Right. Yes, right. So from my experience, when you were younger, you would have to get getting it was like your parents knowing that you would be okay in the future. Because I guess it's worse if you get chickenpox as an adult.
As older, I heard. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, and I guess it can. I'm assuming it can be deadly.
For real?
Yeah,
Gosh, I didn't know that.
I mean, it's a disease. I mean, it's something. A virus.
Virus,
yeah. So, needless to say.
I'm going to have to look that up. That's interesting. Yeah, I hadn't. It's funny. I feel like I haven't heard the word chickenpox mentioned in a long time. Like I mean, I don't know. Like I don't even know because my kids are younger. I know your children are a little older than mine. At least your oldest is anyway.
Yeah.
But even like a couple of my buddies and peers, I haven't. I mean, I guess you don't probably go out and say, "Hey, my kid has chickenpox," but I really haven't heard anybody ever mention it recently though. Like I haven't heard like nobody. I'm literally like. I have, friends that have kids that are teenagers, even some that are like actually 18, 19 now.
Yeah, the last time we heard about some pox was when monkeypox was out.
Yeah.
We wasn't hearing about chickenpox like that. But I mean, like I said, it's probably something that is known, still around, just not as around as often. As often, you know what I'm trying to say.
I don't know. What did you say? Try it again.
Let me slow down. It's too late in the afternoon.
It's happy hour.
It's happy hour.
Time,
it's
right?
calling my name.
Yeah. You sure you ain't already answered the phone?
Nah.
What you talking? Yeah.
I did not answer that phone. But
that's
yeah.
Glad to hear you're doing better.
Look that up and bring it to the next podcast.
Yeah.
Bring your index cards.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's been obviously it's been a little minute since we spoke.
Yeah. A lot has happened since then.
Yeah, a lot has happened. I remember the last podcast we did, the weekend we did like a little staycation, me and my family down at the beach. It was like freezing. Actually, that day it was crazy because my son had his first basketball game, which was pretty cool. He did better than what I thought he was. It was funny because you know how any folks who play basketball or know like how you warm up before a game, right? Mm-hmm. So before the game, he was hitting his shots, warming up and everything. And so they warmed up shooting at one particular hoop, right? And then so when the game started, their offense was going towards the other hoop, right? Mm-hmm. And so it had not just my son, but everybody confused on his team and even the other team. So like when his team was on offense, he was like playing defense, and then when his team was on defense, he was acting like he was playing offense because he was in warm-ups. They were shooting at one hoop, so he didn't understand the concept of like, hey, now they have to go shoot at the other hoop.
Yeah.
So his mind was like, okay, if this is the hoop that we're going to be shooting at, so he was actually supposed to be on defense at that time, but he was acting like he was on offense. So I'm glad that he didn't like shoot the ball in the hoop and give the other team any points, nothing like that. But he was funny, man. He did well. Like I said, it was just funny watching.
That age group is funny.
Yeah, it is. It's very funny, man. He made me proud, and I got some good footage of it or whatnot. And
Did
he
you
kept
cry?
looking. No, I didn't cry. I had moments where I felt like, I don't know. I was like one of the moments like, yeah, I'm gonna remember this forever.
Teary-eyed.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, it didn't even move me to that emotion, man. It was, but it was just one of those like, like a proud feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this is my son out here. Doing this. And I remember like, when I was that young, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it was cool. Then after that, that's when we went to the hotel. And actually when we left the basketball game, it was snowing. Like it actually, I don't know if you remember, do you remember that day? It was like little flurries kind of in the air that day.
Yep.
And I was like, dang, this is the day we go down to stay at the beaches where it's actually this cold and it's got flurries or whatever. But it was cool. We kind of hung out. We went to this place called Mellow Mushroom that the kids love. The pizza is really, really good. I think just the dough that they make is really good. I don't know what they do that's different, but it's really good. But yeah, we had a really good time that weekend. And the NFL playoffs started, like I mentioned, my 49ers played. So we was in the hotel just watching the games, kicking back, relaxing, and walked the strip a little bit and just had a good time, man. Just kind of get out the house, but not necessarily go nowhere. If that makes sense. So,
staycation.
Yeah. So it was good.
So that particular night that we recorded, it was my husband's birthday. We went to Aberdeen. Is that
Aberdeen.
Aberdeen. It was my first time going, so don't.
Yeah.
Went there for dinner. That was pretty cool. The food was pretty cool. It was good. I liked everything.
What'd y'all get? You don't ask what you get.
So
I had to get steak, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I ended up getting I think it was called a steak Caesar or something like that. Basically, it was like a filet mignon with crab on top.
Okay.
And then I got like a baked potato and I think a salad or something like that. But we had appetizers. So for appetizers, we had wings. Got the kids some fries. I think my family ate calamari. I don't eat calamari. And then
calamari be banging.
Crab.
You don't like calamari?
Cake. Well,
it was like the squid or like.
No. I don't have an issue with eating it. It's just that the past experiences that I've had with calamari, and I've had it like quite a few times. Mm-hmm. Every single time, I've thrown up from eating it. Yeah, so I don't know why. I think it tastes amazing. I would eat it, but it's just not for me. So
gotcha.
I prefer. I would much rather have an allergy than to throw
Oh yeah,
up.
to throw up. Yeah, yeah. Throwing up is
food.
like I try to not throw up. Like even if I'm like really sick and I know like throwing up probably make me feel better. I just don't even like the action of throwing up.
So I don't like that, so I just stay away from it. I'm looking at it like, oh, that look good. I want to try it again, but I'm like, nah, because if I go home and I'm sick, it's not gonna be a good feeling. So I stay away from it. But we got crab cakes, so that was good there. And then let's see, my daughter ordered like a seafood pasta which had shrimp, scallions, and then she added chicken to it. And I actually tasted the scallion, and it was actually pretty good.
Okay.
Scallop. Not scallion. Scallop.
Scallops. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And
scallops are good. I like scallops. Yeah.
I've never liked them. I've always had them, and they were like chewy.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that day, they were.
They got to be cooked right. Yeah, you do, because you don't want to overcook them because they could like be like really nasty if you overcook them. But you also want to undercook them because, like you said, they could be real like gooey type of stuff.
It's funny because my friend she called me. It was her son's birthday this past weekend, and she said that she wanted to cook him a special meal, and he's like teenager, so he requested lobster. So she was like, man, she was like, she's vegan, so
okay.
So every now and again, she may taste something, especially if she cooked it, but she don't really fully on eat it. And so she said, she called me, she was like, where do I get a lobster from? So she said she ended up going to some fresh market or something like that. I don't know if you ever heard of that. I think it's in Virginia Beach.
Yeah, fresh market. Yeah.
And I've never been in one, but she said she brought the lobster home, and I guess they must have gave her the whole lobster.
Oh wow!
And she was like, it had guts in it, and all. I was like, girl, you supposed to just go get lobster tails. Where you can avoid all of that. And she was like, I didn't know. I said, go to Kroger. Like, I mean, if you don't have anywhere else to go, at minimum, go there. And so, anyway, long story short, she ended up making some lobster. She was like, I guess some years ago, same thing happened with her experience. She said it was chewy. I guess whoever cooked it overcooked it.
Yeah.
So, same thing.
I used to cook scallops all the time. I haven't done it in a while, but I did used to go to, like you said, Kroger or even some other different markets. Like we'll go to like farmers markets where you can get, fresh seafood that's like caught that same day. Get like oysters and stuff like that. And so we used to get scallops pretty frequently. And like you said, it was always kind of tough to kind of gauge exactly, what's the perfect temperature, how long to cook it. But it's good.
They're all different sizes, right?
Yeah. They're different sizes and just
I've never cooked a scallop. Scallop before. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah. So went there. Since then, I've been a Cutlass Girl twice, meeting with agents. I feel like it is, but I'm done with Jamaican food.
You done with Jamaican food?
Done for at least a couple months. I mean,
a couple months.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
I'm done.
I love me some Caribbean food. I love that.
It was funny because the last time I went, the agent was like, "You didn't even eat your food." I was like, "I did eat. I mean, I'm done. I'm full."
That's funny.
My one of my units, the one that I just recently rehabbed, is finally done, so it's on the market for rent. Thank God.
Oh, that's sweet.
If I can get a rent.
I remember you tried, because I remember you told me you was mentioning that you got to show me the pictures. So it'd be dope to see that as well. Yeah. See, like you got before and after pictures of it.
I do.
Okay.
I do. Yeah.
Right, cool.
I posted some online.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up.
Just check your Instagram.
Check my Instagram. Yeah. I got you. But that's cool. That's cool. And you said it's up for rent now.
Yep.
How much you renting for?
$1,300.
$1,300. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Let's see if I can maybe find somebody that's
find somebody
for you.
ASAP.
Yeah.
ASAP.
It's in Norfolk, I think you told me, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Norfolk.
All right. Cool.
We had our sales meeting. I didn't get a chance to go to the sales meeting because I was wasn't feeling too well, but you went to it. How was it? I mean it was packed, right?
Yeah.
Because I was on. So at our sales meeting, it's always nice to see people in person since we're in this like pandemic and we don't really interact in the office too much. We could all work from home, things like that. Yeah. So even though I was sick, I still logged in to the Zoom. And when I was in there, I mean, they looked like sardines in the room. I was like, woo, thank God I didn't go today.
Yeah. It was a lot of folks. I mean, they like you said, because of everyone pretty much does their own thing. When they do say, hey, can you come? They really would like for you to come. I mean, just kind of get everyone around, talk, get the good energy. Kind of get some. Maybe there's something that someone's doing that you can maybe chat with them about or whatever. So yeah, it was a lot of folks there. It's top of the year. Everybody has that newfound energy. trying to attack the year, trying to see, you know, what edge they can provide for the, you know, for their clients or whatnot. So it was pretty cool. Like I said, it was a good time. Good time to, you know, it was good people coming off that, like, you know, holiday times or whatever. Everybody's kind of happy and excited or whatever. So it was cool. It was cool. It was cool. Yeah,
and then you also had a closing.
Yeah.
And the dope thing is so what I liked about this closing was this particular closing, because I think you showed me a picture of it, but anyway, they closed inside of the house, and I did that actually. So when I first purchased my first home, we closed at the house in the kitchen.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
And so that's a unique way of closing, because typically or traditionally, you sit at a table, and back in the day, it used to be where the sellers and the buyers would actually close together.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so then, you know, of course, over time and things change over time, and so it got to be where, you know, you could close separately, and so you may not even know the seller to the house that you're buying. But then even nowadays, they can have a mobile notary go out to your home, and you could actually close inside your home, which is pretty dope, because then you don't have to really, it doesn't feel as intimidating because you're inside the house that you're buying, and then when you're done, it's like the mobile notary leaves and you're there, and you're just like, oh my God, this is my house. It's mine. You know? So I always think that those types of closings are pretty cool. Yeah,
that was cool. It was an agent I worked with, Crystal. We've been killing it actually so far this year, man. We've got like 4 or 5 deals already in January, and even a couple for February. So we've been hitting the year, hitting the ground running, and it was her pastor actually. So it was a good brother. You know, he was able to close on his home. He was excited, like you said. You know, we had the closing actually at his house, so we were there. We took pictures. It was pretty cool. Like I said, I don't go to all of my closings. You know, but some. Yeah. I mean, it's just impossible with my schedule. But I try to make some of them. You know, especially Crystal. She was actually out of town. She went on vacation the same day he was closing. So, and I want to make sure that you know, that someone represented, you know, for the team or whatnot. So. But yeah, it was dope. It was dope. We had a good time. He was excited. He was happy. He kept smiling. You know what I mean? So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, also too, like I said, just kind of catching up since last time we spoke to the folks. Is this past weekend I had a great time too, because this past weekend I went down to Carolina, down in Chapel Hill, and I went to go see the Carolina Tar Heel basketball team play against NC State. So it was pretty cool. It was me, my dad, and my son. We went. And so it's kind of a little story about that, because I'm originally from North Carolina, big Tar Heel fans, had some family that went to UNC, so that's kind of where that stems from. And then my dad, when I was probably like 4 or 5 years old, my dad brought me to my very first Tar Heel game, because my aunt went there, and so he used to visit her on campus, which is his wife, my mom's sister. And so this was like late 80s, early 90s. So I went to a game, fell in love with the color light blue. It's one of my favorite colors. And so ever since then, I've always been a big Tar Heel fan. So now that my son is of age, he's 4, you know, turning 5 this year, it was kind of like the perfect thing to do, to go ahead and say, hey, you know, my dad wanted to go. So we've been kind of making it an every year thing where every year we'll go check out a game together. And he was like, hey, you know, it's that time to go ahead and have Niall come with us. So it was like, all right, cool. So we took a road trip down there. This past Saturday morning, we drove down, hung out, you know, ate, you know, and I was kind of like hanging with the fellas. It was pretty cool to see my boy kind of, you know, just, you know, he was just chilling, man. It was funny, man. He was having a good time in the hotel room, jumping on back and forth from both beds. It was crazy, man. It was cool, and we had a really good time. The Tar Heels won. I posted some videos on social media. A lot of people were laughing and saying, you know, it was really, really nice. So definitely had a good time. We came back the very next morning. It sucked because on the drive back, it's about a 3-hour drive from here. It was pouring down rain, and the weather was terrible on Sunday. So I just hate driving.
Out in that weather.
Yeah, I just hate driving like in that like terrible, especially like on the road. Like, you know, it'd be different just kind of going from here to there. But, you know, be on the road a couple hours in the rain like that, and I don't know, I just don't really care for it. So yeah. I was trying to make sure we got home, you know, safely and quickly as well. So, yeah. But yeah, it was cool. We had a really, really good time. Now, still to this day, he's talking about it. He's asking about, hey, are we going to another basketball game? So I'm like,
yep, yours on Sunday. Yeah,
I was about to say, yeah. On Saturday is like you playing, you suiting Saturday, up this time. Yeah, you suiting up this time, bro. So we can watch you suit up, you know. So he was like, well, no, I'm talking about, you know, I want to eat pizza and ice cream and all that. And I'm like, okay, we can get that after you play. Yeah, after you play. So, but now we had a really, really good time. And then also on that weekend, my 49ers beat the Cowboys. So I know it's a lot of Cowboys fans out there. It's America's team, as they say.
Is that what they call it?
They call it an America's team. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, so we my Niners knocked them off on Sunday, and so now it's down to the last 4 teams left in the NFL playoffs. So we play the Eagles this weekend, and so hopefully
y'all win.
Yeah, hopefully we win, man. If we win, we go to the Super Bowl, man. I already got my parents said that they'll watch the kids, so I'm definitely I'll be there at the Super Bowl, man. It'll be one of my bucket list items to go check my boys out in Arizona, out in the West Coast. I've never been to Arizona before, so I'm hoping that hoping they can pull it off this weekend. It's gonna be tough. Philly's tough, man. Philly's been the best team all year, so we'll have to really have our A game to win. But I think we got a shot though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, besides that, let me see. I had a homebuyer seminar. That was this past weekend, and of course.
How did that go? Was it all right?
We're not even gonna go into
not gonna talk about that one. Okay. All right, we'll leave that one alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then let me see what else happened to me. Oh, of course, I talk about it all the time. We back in volleyball mode, so every Sunday, we have games.
Okay.
Pretty much.
That's been going pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually been going pretty well. We were at practice last night, and but the coach was like, I believe we're gonna go to the like
playoffs.
Playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is what they call. I don't even know. Is that the official term? I don't even know.
I would think so. Yeah. Okay. I think pretty. Yeah.
So she basically said that, and she was kind of like going over the dates, and I was like, oh shoot, because we got this other volleyball thing that's getting ready to happen. It's gonna kind of overlap, but it'll be all right. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
When that time comes, but. I know that on a more sadder note, you had a friend that
my buddy my buddy Stan, man, he's been my barber, man, since I was like in middle school. I remember, I never forget, one of my buddies in middle school, he would always come to school with a fresh edge up and had them long sideburns. I don't know if you remember those back in the day, Sophia, but I used to like that joint when you had like the skinny long sideburns.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, excuse me.
That's what. Hold on, wait. They did that here in VA.
Yeah, I mean, like when your sideburns was like, the skinny ones when they go like to like right here.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, when you're back then though, I mean, this is like when you're younger, so it's like you can't. I mean, I'm talking about like 12, 13, so you can't have like a full beard yet.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay, so it's kind of like that. Those hairs right there, they'll just make it look like you.
Well, no, it really was. I mean, your hair really was down to about here. That's the most. I mean, Anyway, long story short, my buddy would come to school. He would have a fresh edge up. So I was like, "Yo, who cuts your hair?" And he was like, "Yo, my cousin does." I was like, first, like, well, yo, I want to get my hair cut by him, but he was like, man, he's way out in Portsmouth. So I was like, dang. So this is before I was driving. So I would actually like hitch a ride with him anytime he would go, and we would get my hair cut. And literally since then, I mean, I've had a couple people cut my hair in between, like moving around college and all that different stuff. But he's been the consistent person, man. His son actually passed away last week. So I definitely want to send my prayers to him and his family. They actually had the funeral today. I stopped by yesterday for the wake, and it was sad, man. It was really, really sad. I mean, the son was only 18 years old, so he was just becoming a man. Mm-hmm. And it was just a sad situation. I'm not going to put too much information out there, man, about it, but definitely want to keep them in my prayers. Yes. Like I said, that's my guy, man. He's my guy, man. I was able to talk to him a little bit yesterday, and he was really appreciative of me coming by, and even some other folks that we have common friends were able to stop by and show him some love in a time of a time of heart and grief. So
that's sad.
Yeah.
Well, at least you were able to go and support. That's
yeah.
It's to the best of your ability. Right?
Yeah.
I know that when you lose people, you don't know what he's going through, so it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because you're not supposed to
checking in every now and again, seeing how you're doing. I mean, that's what you got to do. You can't just reach out the first time. You gotta,
kind of
just keep checking.
Because you're not supposed to have to, as they say, like bury your child. Like,
correct.
It's not supposed to be that way. It's not set up to be that way. So to have to endure that type of pain and emotion, like I can't even imagine it. Like it's indescribable, man. But Stan was my guy, man. We have a running joke. I'll just mention this real quick to kind of leave it on a lighter note. Like at my wedding, man, he like. At weddings, when people can come up and make like a speech, what I'm saying, about the bride or the groom. And so at my wedding, man, Stan had the speech of the night. Like he came up and he was a little inebriated. Yeah, he was a little inebriated. He had his sunglasses on and everything, man. And he was like, and mind you, my barber, he's older than me. He's probably got me by about 10 years. And so he was like, he looked at my parents. He was like, you know what? I want to be like Bryan. He was like, even though I'm older than him, he was like, he just a good guy. He just a good guy, man. Like, I don't ever really tell him this, man. He say, I've known and talked to him for years, man. I've seen him become young, the man, and he just always do the right thing, man. Like, I love that dude, man. Like, that dude, if I ever want to, like, if I'm in a situation where I got to think what I need to do, I call him because he always know the right thing to do. And he talked for like 20 minutes, but it was the speech that we have. I've watched it a couple times. It's funny. Me and him joke about it all the time or whatever, man. So that's my guy, man. I love the dude, man. So definitely. Yeah.
So, yeah. That's sad.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Heart goes out to you.
Yeah. Stan.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So, anything else? I mean, 2 weeks is a long
Yeah, it's
time.
a lot.
I feel like
we talked. Yeah, I mean, I probably missed a couple of things, but I mean, that was, the gist of the last 2 weeks, to be honest with you. So,
all right, guys.
Yeah.
So, you know what we do next? Exercise your knowledge. So during this segment, we're going to ask you a mortgage-related question. We're going to reveal the answer later on in the segment, but during that time, we want you to think about the answer, hold it in the back of your mind while listening to the topic of the day. And today's exercise your knowledge question is, if a lender happens to ask you to provide a transaction history or a bank statement, can you identify the difference? Do you think you know what that is? Do you really, at the top of your head, do you know, like, oh, okay, let me go get this bank statement they're asking, or let me go get this transaction history? Can you identify those terms? And do you know exactly what they mean?
Yeah.
Or are they different? Are they one and the same?
Yeah. That's yeah, man. Like, I had. Man,
Yep.
that's that. I talk about that all the time.
Talk about it later.
Okay. I didn't want to get too far. Yeah, I just had like nightmares just flash across my brain when you said it. So I was just like, oh man, I can't wait to get into that. Yeah. Don't bring me that heartache, man.
3 days before closing.
Yeah.
You didn't give me the right thing.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
All right. So keep that at the back of your mind. We're gonna reveal the question here shortly. So today's topic, we wanted to talk about, and this is going to be geared towards your home buyers that are looking for like down payment assistance. So down payment assistance is basically special programs that assist you with not making a down payment.
Correct.
Or limiting your down payment.
Yeah.
Now, we all know that when you're buying a house, there's down payment and then there's closing costs. So we're specifically talking about the down payment assistance portion. So when you are applying for this down payment assistance, you essentially don't have any down payment, right? How much money do you need to save? Can you come and buy a house with no money at all? Is that like a thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, like Sophia said, when it comes to purchasing a house, we wanted just to kind of go over a couple of must-haves as far as monies that you would need. So it's not a situation where you're scrambling and we're needing to get a bank statement or a transaction history the day before closing or a couple days before closing to make sure that we show that you have enough money for closing or whatnot. So if you're prepared on the front end, then like I said, always we're looking at trying to provide that experience and that A1 service for you. So, the monies part is typically the part that could make the experience not the greatest.
Correct.
So when it comes to the monies, we'll go over a couple of things that you want to make sure you have put to the side. So, when you are in that position or when you're looking to, look for your home search, you're able to, experience the home buying process and it be a more positive one. So like Sophia mentioned, we're looking at buyers that are able to get down payment assistance, right? So obviously down payment is key, right? So if you're in a situation where if you're a first-time home buyer and you qualify, or there's other programs where you don't have to not have to necessarily be a first-time home buyer, but you're able to get down payment assistance. So one thing that you got to have is when you're looking to put an offer on a house, so you've already been pre-approved, you have to have what's called an earnest money deposit.
Right? Or EMD.
Or EMD. Yeah, there you go. Yep, EMD. So that's just obviously short for earnest money deposit. And and what that does is that just shows when you're putting an offer in, you're putting up a couple of your own dollars. That shows the seller that you're serious about this home buying purchase, right? Because what's going to happen is they're putting their house out there on the market to be purchased. And if they do accept your offer, they're removing the house from the market. And so they're not entertaining any other offers once you guys have a ratified contract or an agreement, on terms between, you buying the house and them selling the house. So by you putting up a couple of dollars as collateral, that shows the seller that, hey, if you default from this contract, this is money that I'm able to keep in that situation, for my time lost that I could have been selling the home to somebody else, right? And so typically, you want to look at having, I would say, anywhere between $500 to $1,000 prepared for that earnest money deposit. On your lower purchase prices, anywhere I would say below $300,000 to $400,000, you could probably get away with $500
in Virginia.
Yeah, in Virginia.
No.
No.
Let me take that back. In Hampton Roads.
Hampton Roads. There you go.
Because if you once you get a little bit closer up there to DC, I actually work with an agent that's up there. They at minimum want 1%.
There you go. That's true. Yeah, even in Maryland, that's how they do it as well. Because I've done some. Obviously, we're licensed in several states, so different states. Even North Carolina, they have a thing called your due diligence. So they have an earnest money deposit and a due diligence as well. But yeah, we're specifically speaking about the Hampton Roads area. You want to have, because that's where we service most with us, living here. But you want to have at least that $500 to $1,000 for that earnest money deposit.
That's correct.
Right. And then
you also want to have enough money for your home inspection. So I think in a previous episode we discussed the difference between what's in your home inspection and your appraisal.
Yeah.
So the home inspector is someone that you utilize. It's not. It's highly recommended but not required.
Correct.
And basically the home inspector is going to go in and tell you any and everything that could be wrong with the home.
Yeah.
So if there's a light bulb out, the home inspector going to say, hey, you need to replace this light bulb.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be as simple as that, right?
Yeah.
But that costs money and it's an upfront cost for you. So I would say save between, $300 and maybe, $600 for your average size home. If you're purchasing $1 million home, it might be a little bit more, but they gauge their prices based on the square footage of the property. So they'll tell you ahead of time before they come out to the property the price of the home inspection. Again, we highly recommend a home inspection, but it's not required.
Yeah, and I'll say this real quick too. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that's something that you definitely want to save for.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely important. I'll say this too. Me, obviously, I'm an investor. You mentioned before, I have a couple of properties out there that I'm doing right now, rehabbing and building. And I have a house in Virginia Beach that just had a buyer, young, sweet couple, first-time home buyer. Yeah. And I kind of had a feeling that this was going to happen, but they got under contract to purchase the house that I have. And the home inspection sometimes can be overwhelming or scary to a buyer because you see all these things that the home inspector says is either needs to be fixed or just needs to be noted. And, it was a whole bunch of small things on there like, hey, this, this electrical cover is loose and, this part right here, the water's not flowing, with enough pressure out of the tub. Just little small stuff that you can things that can easily be fixed. That's not a huge issue. But we actually had those buyers who we were under contract with decide not to move forward with the purchase of the home. So now we actually are putting the home back on the market, which is unfortunate, because once you've agreed to terms, you're thinking, everything's going to get to closing, right? And they're going to get a new home, and then obviously I'll be able to benefit financially from it. But yeah, it was just one of the situations where your home inspection's there to help find things, and the home inspection's going to find stuff. So you don't as a buyer, when a home inspection is given to you, it'll be broken down to show you like the severity of stuff on there. Most home inspectors will kind of detail that. So don't let that kind of scare you from buying the home. I just want to put that out there. Even though that personally happened to me, I've seen a lot of people walk away from situations and then they try to find something else that's better than that. A lot of times they
missed their blessing.
Yeah, they missed their blessing that first time, and then they start trying to find something like, unless you're buying a new home, and even new homes.
Even a home inspector can even ding things on a new construction property.
Absolutely.
Their job is to pick it apart.
Absolutely.
You know how you had. I mean, if you guys had that teacher or that professor where you gave your all, and then they just want to pick it apart. You ever had that happen?
I did actually. Yeah,
you get that paper back, it's got all that red on it. You're like, dang, I did like the most with this, and then they just picked it apart. Yeah. But they did that to just kind of be better for better words, an asshole.
Yeah.
Right? That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to tell you, like, at the worst, what's happening, right?
Correct.
I've had a person walk away. So basically, the home inspection stated that the electrical box needed labels. So anybody who's a homeowner or even an apartment, there's going to be an electrical box where you can turn your power on and off in different segments of the home. You can kind of like turn off different areas at a time as opposed to shutting down all the power in your house. And I guess this particular electrical box didn't have like living room, dining room, all the different labels.
That should not have you out of the house because of that.
That's not the issue.
Oh, okay.
The issue was they saw electrical box, and that just was like, oh, it's something wrong with the electrical box. They didn't even read what the home inspector was trying to say, or maybe they read it and didn't quite understand.
Yeah.
It's all about asking the questions. Don't assume. Really understand what those things mean. Even reach out to your home inspector and have them give you an explanation. I remember when all the home inspections that I've had, I mean, if I didn't understand something, I'll be like, hey, can you show me what you're talking about? Or can we discuss this a little bit further, because I don't quite get it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you're spending your money with them. They're going to be more than happy to give you an explanation. But anyways.
We can go down to home inspection. Yeah.
Have money for your home inspection, because that's something that's out of pocket. It's non-refundable. Once it's done, they did their job. Even if you don't move forward with the property, you paid. And it's forfeited. You're done.
Correct.
Right. The third item.
Yeah, I would say the third item is appraisal. Yeah. So the appraisal typically is going to be, and it's kind of there's normally like a fixed amount. It's about $600. That's kind of your norm. But again, if you're looking at a larger size home, sometimes your much bigger homes, it could be more, or even multi-families where there's multiple living spaces that have to be evaluated. Those homes, the cost for the appraisal will actually be a little bit more on those particular homes. But typically, what I see is about $600 is kind of the average cost when it comes to that. Now, in most cases, that cost is collected at the time of you ratifying that contract, and then let's say after the home inspections happen and you want to go ahead and move forward with the purchase and everything looks good, then that's when you go ahead and order that said appraisal, and then that's when you pay for that cost. There's some unique situations where you're able to defer that cost to closing and have it paid at closing, but in most cases we do require that you pay that appraisal at the time of us ordering the appraisal, which would be after you've ratified the PICRA, which is just the property inspection contingency removal addendum, where it just has all the information that you maybe requested to have the seller fix, and they've assigned to say, hey, and they looked at the home inspection, they see these things, they say, hey, we'll fix all these things before the home is before you close on the home. And so once that's happened, that's normally the last contingency that's there until you actually close on the home. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's something to save for.
Yeah.
Because that could be an upfront cost depending on what lender you're working with. That's actually a fee that is paid no matter if you close on the home.
Correct.
So you got to think about it from the perspective of that home inspector or that appraiser.
Yeah.
When they go out and do their job, they deserve to get paid.
Absolutely.
So that is a cost that you pay up front, even if you decide not to move forward with the property, or even if financing falls through, whatever the case, they still have to get paid for doing their job.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then, of course, a couple miscellaneous things is reserves.
Yeah.
So we don't really mention reserves too often. And that is a requirement for some of these special programs, especially like here in Virginia, the VHDA.
Yeah.
They do want to see that you do have the ability to save. They want to see that you have funds that could potentially save you for a month of not having income.
Correct.
So typically, VHDA wants to see, I think it's 1%. No, it's 1%.
Yeah.
But depending on your file, your individual file, they could ask for 2 to 3 months of reserves. And basically what that is it's your monthly payment times 1, times 2, or times 3.
Correct.
So
if you're estimated to be, let's say your payment's estimated to be $1,800 a month, and that's your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So your whole payment.
Use $1,500.
1,500.
Yeah.
Oh, nah, 1,800. Okay. Look, we got to stretch them a little bit, right? You know what I'm saying? That's too easy. I want their mind to start working a little bit. So let's say 1,800. I think you were wanting 1,800 or 1,500 because I think your math ain't really the greatest when it comes to certain things. So
listen,
yeah, I got it. I got us.
Let me tell you, it's funny that I'm in this industry. So I utilize a calculator till its fullest extent.
Oh man.
No matter what. Okay.
Oh man.
So I might not off the top of my head can spit numbers out. But I'm in the ballpark and I got a calculator, B.
Oh man, okay. So you one of them kids when we used to have to show our work in math class?
I was a show your work.
Oh, you were?
Type of
Okay,
person.
I thought you was a show your calculator. Like, hey, this is what I got. Okay.
Nah, because I was writing that thing on the paper.
Okay.
So if I'm writing on the paper,
all right. Hey, okay.
I have my personality is to be right. So I showed my work.
I would agree with you on that one. That is very true. I think that's women all across the world.
Oh,
actually.
Whatever. Don't even go down that.
Nah,
stay in your lane.
Okay. See, there you go. Look. All right. But yeah. So as far as what we were talking about, I lost my train of thought already. You was talking about reserves. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. So
yeah, that's why you should have used 1,500. You probably wouldn't have forgotten.
Whatever. So, like Sophia mentioned, let's say your payment is $1,800, right? Well, we're going to want to see that you have $3,600 potentially or $5,400 potentially saved up. And the way to look at it is like, hey, if you're getting down payment assistance, right? So you're not having to contribute anything to the down payment, then at least you can do is I have a couple of dollars saved, right? It'd be different if you were, let's say you had, money saved and your down payment was $6,000 or $7,000, and then let's say if you put your down payment down, then it puts you, at $1,000 or $1,500 left. Then they would say, okay, that's okay because you're contributing this amount of money towards the transaction. But if you're getting assistance where you're not having to put any down payment towards it, then basically they're like, hey, well, if we're giving you the money for the down payment, the least you can do is have some money saved, right?
And then, in addition to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you go get an apartment, guess what you have to do?
Oh, yeah.
You got to pay your first month security deposit, and sometimes even the last month, depending on what county or city you live in.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always going to have an upfront cost.
Correct.
So just keep that in mind. Have the savings. Save your funds. You can even use retirement accounts.
Yep.
If you're working and contributing towards your retirement.
Yep.
As long as you have what is it called? The vested amount.
Yeah.
That you could pull from.
Yeah.
And they will even give you the accountability to use that.
Yeah.
But save.
Yeah.
Please save.
Yeah.
And those are some of the things that, at minimum, right? Let's say you get all the assistance in the world. At minimum, there's going to be some upfront cost for you. So even if you were to get closing cost assistance from the seller, even if you get down payment assistance from these special programs, you still have to contribute towards your purchase.
Yeah.
And at minimum, please save your home inspection, earnest money deposit, appraisal, and have some money in the bank.
So let's do the math on that real quick, right? So just so kind of folks can kind of get at least a roundabout number. So like we said,
so we're gonna start at $300,000, right?
Okay. So let's say it's $500 for the earnest money deposit, right?
Correct.
So then we said for the appraisal, that's another $600, right? So that's $1,100 there, right?
Yep.
You need your calculator yet, or you good?
No, we good.
You good? Okay. All right. Cool. And then we talked about the home inspection.
Mm-hmm.
Home inspection is.
Let's say that's about $450.
Yeah, let's say $450. All right. So then that would be $1,550 that we're at right there, right?
Yep.
And then let's talk about as far as reserves go.
Like your 1%.
Yeah.
That's an additional $3,000.
Yep.
Or let's say that monthly payment is, $300,000. You're probably looking at about, in this market, what, $2,600 a month?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
About $2,600 a month. So multiply that by 2. Now we need you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was getting the
5,200.
5,200 times 2.
No.
Oh, you talking about this?
2,600 times.
Oh, times 2. Okay. Yeah. I was getting a call and a text. That's why you tried to get me. You tried to get me when I was vulnerable. That's what you tried to do.
Y'all see?
Yeah.
My math be mathing sometimes. Look.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But yeah. So that's That's
and if you've been working at a certain job for let's say you've been at your job for at least 5 years and you've contributed the 4%. I mean, you should have $5,000 in your savings. I mean,
correct.
I'm sorry, not in your savings, in your retirement that you could potentially use, to show the lender that, hey, you've been saving. It's just in my retirement. So
correct. And you can use like we talked about. You can use when it comes to the reserves aspect of it. It could be a little bit of your savings you have in your bank account. I mean, it could be, we talked about retirement as one. I mean, you have like a stock account, a mutual fund, a brokerage account, like all the different ways that you could be putting money to the side to save. Exactly. Those are all, things that we can show that, hey, you do have money other than what we maybe just see in your bank statement or your bank account, So, it's not a whole lot. I think it's honestly pretty comparable, like Sophia just mentioned. Maybe I've seen in situations where it's actually less money that you need when it comes to buying a home. If you're getting down payment assistance and closing cost assistance, a lot of times it's less money that you need out of your pocket buying a home than it is renting a home, or it's very comparable. But we do want to make sure, because I know a lot of times people, like you said, will come to us and think, hey, I qualify for down payment assistance. We're in a market now where sellers are paying closing costs, and that's normally a higher rate of that happening. I don't need anything. I can come to you with $0 in my bank, and that's the furthest from the truth. So we want to make sure that you do understand and know that. And like I said, I'm passionate about that because I can't tell how many times people come to me, and I'm like, that doesn't even sound realistic. Just think about it. You're about to buy a whole house, and you ain't got not $1? Yeah. Like, that don't even make sense.
I've had someone call me and actually say that to me.
Correct.
The first thing, Sophia, I need your help. I ain't got no money, and I need to buy a house. I didn't know what to, like, I knew what to say, but you also have to be sensitive to, who you're speaking with, because you don't want them to take whatever you're saying out of context. But on the other side of the phone, I was like, oh my goodness, how are we gonna pull this off? Because if, something happens, let's say hypothetically, and this is, hypothetically, let's say your garbage disposal go out. I mean, believe it or not, a garbage disposal goes out, you really can't access your sink in the kitchen, right? On one side, at least. I mean, eventually, you probably can't access either side, but let's say that goes out. You don't have any money saved. What are you going to do? I mean, a garbage disposal only costs, what, $150, $200? Then you got to have a plumber come out. That's another $200. That's $400 that you have to pay. If you don't have any money saved to buy the house, then you're not going to have any money to fix anything that's in the house. So you always want to make sure that you're aware that now you're pretty much the landlord. So if anything goes wrong in that property, you have to be able to fix
responsible. Yeah, you're responsible for it, for sure.
And you always want to fix everything for the most part, to the best of your ability. I mean, you're not going to go around just trying to fix everything, but you do want to keep it tidy, because when it comes time for resale, you pretty much can make all the money that you've contributed into the home.
Correct.
As long as you keep the property value up.
Correct.
And the best way to do that is to keep up with the property. Make sure that you keep it in a good condition to where it can be sold.
Correct. Yeah, that's right.
So, more of the story, save.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely save money. Like I said, it's going to cost a couple of dollars to purchase a home. So we want to make sure and encourage you that you're positioning yourself, like I said, because I can't tell you how many times where the transactions of a purchase can get stressful towards the end because we're waiting for you to get paid again, so to be able to show additional funds for you, or there's monies that you have that you may think is your money, but when it comes to buying a house, it isn't your money, right? Yep. So you may have, money robbing Peter to pay Paul, as I mentioned before. That's a famous term where, you have things that money's already accounted for, and, the money that's in your bank account that you think is yours isn't really truly when it comes to the funds that we can use for the transaction. So,
that's correct.
We definitely want to, and like I said, we always tell people, I mean, if you have any questions, or if you just want to kind of like, hey, I'm going to buy a home in the next, 3, 4, 5 months, you can call us. We can actually go over these things with you so you can kind of prepare yourself. I actually had a buddy of mine who I grew up with, who lives down in North Carolina. I mean, he said, hey, man, I'm in a lease right now. My lease is up this summer. He was like, but I want to position myself right now so when it comes to me buying a home this summer, everything is like I'm just worried about what house I want. I don't want to have to worry about anything else because he's heard so much horror stories. Just me having conversations with him and him hearing it from other people that's purchased homes, man. So I appreciate stuff like that. Like I appreciate people coming 4 or 5 months ahead of time. We get on a track, say, hey, we check in every 2 weeks, maybe every month to kind of make sure that you're doing those things. And then so, hey, when it's time to go ahead and make that move, you're ready. And it's just a matter of finding what home works for you versus trying to figure out, I got to put this money here. I got to make sure I get this. Like, that could be really stressful.
And then some of these government programs where they're giving you this down payment assistance, they're very specific as to how they want to see your bank statement. So
correct.
A lot of people get upset with us as the mortgage banker or the loan officer because we're basically following the guidelines of these grant programs.
Correct.
And if they want to see more information, we have to ask. And
correct.
In order to get you into this home, it may be redundant. And
correct.
Unfortunately, that's what's needed in order to get you to the finish line.
Gotcha.
So when you have funds and it's very clear that it's your saved funds, it's your retirement, it's not you, transferring from this account, like he said, stealing from Peter to pay Paul,
yep.
Any of that difficulty, that's just more questions for you as a consumer to answer, so
yep.
Preparing is definitely the best thing to do, best route to go, and save. Try to save towards your transaction so you don't have to be in that bind during the transaction.
Yeah, that's true.
All right,
that's true.
So next, exercise your knowledge. So at the beginning of the segment, we discussed or we asked the viewers or people that's listening to think about a question, and we're going to now reveal it. So earlier in the segment, the question was, if a lender asks you to provide a transaction history or bank statement, can you identify the difference?
Yeah, it's a good question.
It's a very good question.
You want to do the drum roll?
Yeah,
okay.
Drum roll. And really no drum roll, but
right.
So the answer is
yeah, it's a little explained. It's not like it's a simple, one thing or another.
There's no yes or no.
Yeah.
So there is a difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every month, every financial institution, including Cash App, they're required to give you a monthly statement that shows your transactions for that particular month.
Mm-hmm.
Now, every bank is different. You may bank at an institution where your statements are the 1st through the 30th, but then you may bank at a financial institution where they count the 30 days from the day you open the account. Mm-hmm. Needless to say, you're going to get a 30-day statement or 31-day statement. It's by law.
Correct. Yeah, they have to show you what your transactions were, a ledger of your transactions were over a 30 period daytime. Yes. 30 days, I should say. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your transaction history is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So, as we stated, the bank statement is for 30 days. So, it may be backdated. So, if I ask you for a statement and today is, the 27th of January, your statement may only have went up until January 15th, and then that's the cutoff. So, your statement was from December 15th to January 15th. And that's the most recent statement. But if I want to see your transactions from January 15th until today, the 27th, then that's when we'll ask you for a transaction history. So correct. Your transaction history is kind of similar to when you open your phone and you look at your online banking and you go through and you start scrolling through looking at your transactions.
Yep.
That's your transaction history. So it's two completely different things, completely different requests. So yep. I know that as a lender, I ask for bank statements all the time.
Yeah.
We have to ask for bank statements, right?
Yeah.
But every time I ask, I get a transaction.
Yeah. That happens way too much.
Every single
time.
Or
screenshots of stuff that's on their phone, like you just said, which is technical. I mean, it falls under that transaction history.
It does, but
and everybody's like, what do you mean statement? I don't get statements. I'm like, just go on your if you're sending me this, you have a statement. Go on your online account, and like I said, you click view statement. Whatever verbiage that your bank uses, but they do have some type of monthly breakdown of the transactions, your beginning and ending balance during that period of time.
That's very
true.
And
so that's what we ask for. But you're right. Something as simple as that, it's like it's like almost pulling teeth sometimes just having people provide us that information.
That's not good enough? No.
No, it's not. It's not
According
what we asked
to
for.
Fannie,
Yeah.
it's not good enough.
Yeah, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And then sometimes, just to kind of say this part too, when we get the transaction history, you know, for it to be official, because there is a lot of fraud that's done in our industry.
Yes.
You know, we have to, if you're printing it offline yourself, it has to have that URL at the bottom, right? So it has to have that website that it actually directly came from, so we can confirm, like, hey, it came from, you know, the exact place that it looks to have come from, right?
Correct.
You know, or if you go into the bank and, you know, the actual bank and have them print it off for you, then we have to have it signed and stamped by the person that helped you. That makes it official as well.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of times people can manipulate documents.
And a lot of times transaction history doesn't have your name or any information.
Correct.
On
It doesn't identify who you are.
Doesn't identify who you are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I remember you telling me you had a situation recently where someone sent you, I think you said, like, remember when you were having a conversation, because Sophia and I will have, like, because, you know, obviously we do the same thing, like, we have different buyers that we help, but it's like a lot of the conversations we have are the same, because a lot of the things that she has that comes to her, you know, the deal that she has to deal with, I do as well, you know, so we'll bounce things off of each other all the time. I remember you recently saying something of the sort of, like, you had a buyer send you a transaction history, and I think you had kind of pushed back and was like, hey, like, we need, you know, this doesn't identify you, and they were like, you know what, you're right.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're right, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I told him, I said, take a look at the document. Do you see your name on there?
Right. Yeah, it
She
could
was like,
be
no.
anybody.
I was like, well, how I know?
How I know
How
this
do
is
I know whose
yours?
document
Yeah, just
this
because
is?
you sent it to me don't necessarily mean it's yours. Like, you know.
Exactly. And so sometimes that light bulb moment goes off, and they understand where we're coming from.
Correct.
You know.
Correct.
Like I said, there's a difference. Knowing the difference is key. So that way, when it's requested from you, you at least know, like, hey, okay, I'm going to look at this specific, looking for this specific item.
Correct.
And monthly statements are required, even in Cash App. I don't know if you guys even know how to access your statements in Cash App, but you cannot access them from your phone. You have to log into Cash App on a computer, and you can actually get a statement from there as well. So anytime there's some type of, with the exception of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, they're in their own, I don't even think they're FDIC or insured or any type of
decentralized.
Yeah, they have their own space, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
But if it's a financial institution or any type of transaction having platform, they have to give you a statement to let you know, like, where your monies went and how they were transacted, basically.
Correct.
Yeah. And plus, would you want to put your money into a place where they can't keep track of it?
Yeah.
I don't think that's...
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't want to do that. Because if you ever need something...
Correct.
You would definitely want something that you could reference, right?
And I remember seeing a study. It was funny. We'll wrap up on this point. But I remember seeing a study where they said that the average person looks at the money that they have in their account at least, I think it was like 10 or 12 times a day.
Oh.
And so I just thought that was kind of funny a little bit, because it's like, you know, what makes you have to look at it that much? Like people be thinking people get, like, they robbing your account, you know what I'm saying? Like,
probably no. Yeah. I think no. I think what it is.
Well, I know people, like, you know, you got stuff going on, but they said, like, they normally, before someone goes to sleep, they look at their bank account. When they wake up first thing in the morning, because they think something happened while they were asleep. Throughout the day, they're consistently checking, even if they're not necessarily using any money. It was just a funny thing. Like, I was like, dang, like, and I know I look at my stuff occasionally, but honestly, I used to look at it a lot, but I don't even really look at it like that no more. I kind of, like, when I'm paying bills, I kind of look and kind of summarize, okay, what's going on or whatever. But it's funny, like, I mean, a lot of people, they look at their account all the time. You know what I mean?
So my opinion on that is, you're probably seeing the people that they're tracking is probably people who are pretty much utilizing the account transaction specific. Right?
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
So what I mean by that is say I have $500 in the account, and then I go spend $200, then I go spend $50, then I go spend $20, then I go spend $5, then I go spend $30, then I go. They're like penny pinching towards that $500, so you have to keep up with it. And then, you know, just in the last 10-15 years, bank fees have gotten ridiculous. Like, every time you overdraft, it's like a $25-$35 fee, and then they just add up.
Yeah.
And so I think that a lot of people utilize the app and they log in and look at it so much because they're not keeping track of their spending like our parents did. Because our parents used a ledger. They had the bank.
Well, that's I guess I'm hitting at a bigger product. That's what I'm saying. Like our parents did have the checkbook.
No, they had the checkbook.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
if stuff didn't balance at the end of the month,
hold on, let me look at this.
like,
hold on. I got these paper mache receipts right here. What you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
I remember when my dad came to me like when I was like early 20s. He was like, "Oh, look at this," and I'm like, you still use a checkbook? And then I would have clients because I was in the banking space before I got into mortgage. So I used to be a personal banker and I was a small business specialist. So I used to sit down sometimes with some of my older people and help them balance their checkbooks. And you know what was crazy was it got so bad that the bank started charging.
Oh, wow.
For our time. Because
I can see that.
Yeah. You had to schedule an appointment and you had to have like it was like they would have a special department that would do it because they were taking up
time
too much
from other
time
stuff that
for the
could
people
be,
that were in the branches.
Yeah.
So there would be someone like on the back end in customer support that would balance it for them and then send it to the bank and they come and pick it up from us.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I guess the moral of that story is just kind of understand what your transaction history is, what your bank statement is. If you've never even utilized a bank statement before, log into your online banking.
Yeah, log in, kind of take a look at it.
Take a look at it.
Play around with it. See what you got going on. You might have some stuff you never even knew that was going on there.
Yep. So, all right, what's up next?
What we got going? I know this weekend we missed my son's game last weekend, like I mentioned, because we went to go see North Carolina Tar Heels. So he's eager to get back on the court. So he has a game tomorrow at 11. So definitely be locked in for that. Outside of that, I think it's supposed to be decent weather tomorrow. It's supposed to be at least sunny, like in the 50s, if I'm not mistaken. So, typically on the weekend we'll try to do something, family oriented. So, we'll probably like after his game maybe go grab lunch somewhere. We like breweries, so maybe go check out a brewery, kind of have the kids run around and get some lunch, get some food and some drinks. And then Sunday, which is pretty cool. I haven't been. Well, it's a church that my wife grew up in. So there's two people there that she knew while she was growing up, who the husband, I should say, it's a husband and wife. The husband, he married us, and so we hadn't really talked to them recently. Obviously, the pandemic, they haven't seen our daughter, who's a little over 2 now, about to be 3 in a couple months. Obviously because of the pandemic and everybody keeping distance or whatnot during that time. And she was born right at the beginning of the pandemic. So, they've been asking about the kids and everything. So we're actually going to go to church on Sunday morning and check them out, see how they're doing, and so they can check to see how, look at the kids and see the kids and everything like that. So that's pretty fun. Looking forward to that, catching up with them for a little bit. And then Sunday afternoon / evening is the big game. My boys play, man, so I'm going to be locked in. I know the fellas, my boys in the neighborhood, we'll probably end up getting together, maybe watching a little bit of the game together, maybe get a stogie, a cigar going and some drinks, trying to, see if the boys can take the Eagles out. So that's pretty much what I got on my agenda. On Monday, too, I got every year my buddy Cavell, he's been on the show before, or, me, him, and a couple other guys that are all within the real estate industry, we'll get together and just kind of like a dinner together and kind of chop it up because everyone's life is fast-paced. We kind of keep up with each other, but we also don't know every single thing that's going on personally and professionally with each other. So we'll get together once a year around this time of the year to kind of see how things are going, see what each other has goals-wise, so we can kind of check with each other, make sure everyone's on pace to try to do what they're supposed to do. So looking forward to that as well. That's always a good time. I think last time I picked the bill up, so I know I'm not paying this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I will be going out of town tomorrow. Actually, no, I take that back. I got the notification today that my cousin's daughter's mother has COVID, so we aren't going out of town. But the plan was that we were going to go out of town tomorrow, celebrate a birthday, come back Sunday, and then, volleyball day, all day on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, my kids are out of school, so you know how that goes. I actually got a meeting with my oldest child's principal on Monday. And that's a whole nother situation. I'll have to tell y'all that in the next segment. You tell me what you think about it. Besides that, I know that you are doing the Langley Air Force Base
that's
event
true.
that
I
I
almost
can't
forgot
attend.
that. Yeah, on Wednesday, another agent that I work with, Sophia and I both actually work with, she just actually got out of the military. I actually helped her purchase her home last year. I think it was last year. Last year here. It was within the last year or two. I know it was during the pandemic. Yeah. She purchased a home recently. She actually came over from Germany. She was stationed out there for a couple of years, and but she's a real estate agent now. And so we went on base before and talked to some folks that are active duty about their VA loan. And so this, we kind of had not the greatest amount of people come, but we kind of planned a lot better this time. And so she texted me actually today and told me she had 12 RSVPs already. Perfect. So that's actually good. And this time, the time we're doing it and the place we're doing it on base is a little bit better as well. So we're looking forward to that. Even that when we had it the first time, wasn't very many people came, but the people that did come, thought it was very informational as far as how many times you can use your VA loan. We talked about that before. They just didn't know. So it was pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to.
I don't think they even have a class for that. So if you know how to get us on base to speak to everybody about the VA loan, hit us up. Let us know.
Yeah.
So outside of that, we also have you have the ODU event.
Yeah, Thursday ODU basketball game. Yeah, a couple agents. I always do that once a year. I know we take some folks out to a basketball game and football game, just kind of like I guess you could say appreciation, So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I haven't seen ODU play at all this year. Let me check out a couple of games. I need to probably take my son out to check one game out too. The season's actually, February is going to be next week. So I know the season's starting to kind of finish up here at the end of the month, end of February. So looking forward to that. That should be pretty fun as well. So a busy week coming up in and out the month of January, kicking off February. So
yeah, my son's birthday coming up.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, so that's all we have coming up. I guess we'll check in next week to let you know how everything went.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But we always like to leave you with a motivational quote of the day. So you want to take that?
I'll let you rock.
Okay. All right, so listen, guys, I was in a store. I usually, a few times a year, I get notebooks, and I like to write down notes and stuff like that. So I'm in the store and I'm like, oh man, I actually need to get a new notebook because the one that I have is pretty much on this last few pages. So I pick up this notebook and on top it had a quote. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm buying this notebook and it's gonna be my quote of the day. So quote of the day is: attract what you expect, reflect what you desire, become what you respect, and you mirror what you admire.
I like that. That was fire. That was fire. Yeah, I like that a lot. I remember you told me about that. I think you said you saw it actually yesterday. So I was like, that'd be a dope quote. Yeah. So that's good.
It was
really
actually,
nice.
It was perfect because we were getting ready to record today.
Yeah.
So that's all the time that we have for you guys today. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Mine is SKB_mortgage. And
I'm Bryan_Royster.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All right. So thank you for listening to our podcast, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.